Replacing the tubing on a Zing Z-curve bow is a fairly straightforward process. You will need the precision flat screwdriver to open the screw caps, a Phillips screwdriver to detach the peg, and a new rubber tubing, either 1/8 or 3/8 inch outer diameter. Using a slotted 1 mm or 2 mm screwdriver, remove the plastic caps from the end peg to expose the screws. Using a Phillips screwdriver, remove the screw that holds the peg to the bow. These are tiny screws, so make sure you don't lose them. Once you have the peg separated from the bow, remove the second Phillips screw from the outer side of the peg. This should allow detaching the peg from the peg cover. The peg should simply slide out of the peg cover. Next, remove the damaged tubing out of the peg holes. You can simply pull the tubing out using your hands or try using a plier. The original tubing is held inside the peg hole using a plastic ball head pin. You can save those tiny ball head pins if you want, but we will not need them for this replacement procedure. After that, pull out the leftover damaged tubing out of the middle peg that's adjacent to the hand grip. The end peg holes are too tiny, making it difficult to insert the new tubing. However, you can use a string loop to fish the tubing through the small peg hole. Insert the string loop from the outer side of the peg hole. Now insert the tubing into this string loop and pull the string back out of the peg. This should allow you to successfully insert a 1/8 inch tubing or even a thicker tubing through the narrow peg hole. Next, tie a knot at one end of the tubing to prevent it from coming out of the peg hole. Then line up the string with the bow to identify the correct middle peg slot that would take the other end of the tubing. After inserting the tubing into the middle peg slot, fish it through the tube reinforcement and then back through the other slot on the middle peg. If needed, use a string loop to fish the tubing successfully through the narrow slot. Make sure the tubing does not crisscross as you proceed to run the tubing back to the end peg. Finally, using the string loop method one more time, fish the tubing through the empty hole in the end peg. Tie a knot to prevent the tubing from sliding back out. Now insert the peg back into the peg cover and align it into the slot at the end of the bow. You will need to twist the peg inside the peg cover so that the knots can stick out of the open slot on the peg cover. Attach the peg assembly to the bow using the Phillips screw. Secure the other end of the peg using the second Phillips screw. Now you can put the plastic caps back on to close the screw holes. Pull the bow tubing to make sure it has the right tension and stretches smoothly.